Hey guys, Sacred Spear here, and before we start this video, I have a special announcement. I was recently given the opportunity to talk about Amino, which is a social media app that lets you connect with all your favorite fandoms and communities for basically anything out there. Amino even has a Fire Emblem community, and it's the ultimate place for Fire Emblem related discussions, art, content, and it even comes with public chat rooms where you can make new friends with other Fire Emblem fans from around the world. Other neat features include community polls, testing your knowledge on fan-made quizzes, and even having the ability to follow your favorite users and make sure you see all of their awesome work. I personally enjoy the featured feed, which is a nice showcase of some of the most recent popular posts. This post featured a very cool colorless team build that user Zerter put a lot of hard work into. You can download the Amino app by searching for Amino in your app store of choice, or you can click on the link in the description so Amino knows I sent you. Thanks again to Amino for sponsoring this video. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the healing specials in the game and discuss what merits they have, as well as their downsides versus using damage specials. First off, I will be mostly talking about Noontime and Sol in this video. They both received a buff from Update 2.0 where their cooldowns got decreased by 1, so now Noontime is a 2-turn special and Sol is a 3-turn special. Aether was not changed, and while I won't be focusing on it in this video, some of the things I talk about regarding Noontime and Sol do apply to Aether as well, at least its healing component. So why should you choose to use a healing special? HP is crucial in this game because 0 HP means you're dead, but it also is a big component of many skill activations. Literally, 1 HP can make the difference between being able to proc Swordbreaker or being able to activate Desperation. Making sure your units stay within certain HP thresholds is a key factor in combat, and for skills that require you to be on the higher levels of health, these healing specials can keep your unit's HP topped off. Another reason to use these skills is if you don't want to use a healer on your team. Understandably, sometimes it's just more valuable to have a combat unit who can sustain themselves or sustain their own HP. In Arena, healers are rated pretty low, so not having to depend on their powerful staffs mean you can score better. While Arena usage may not require as much healing, PvE content does have maps where your team needs to be able to survive against a ton of enemies. The answer to beating these maps sometimes is to just make sure everyone stays alive. Moonbow might be nice, but if your unit can't survive the next battle, then maybe Noontime or Sol would have ensured they live to fight another day. Tempest Trials is probably the best example of requiring a team that can sustain multiple battles so you get the best scores possible. Now let's discuss what are some downsides to using Noontime, Sol, and Aether. First off, they only heal off of damage dealt. This means that even if your unit's attack deals 20 damage, if the enemy only has 10 HP, then they will only heal based off that 10 damage needed to kill the enemy. This means these specials are terrible against low health enemies. If you activate Sol against an enemy with only 1 HP left, I don't think you even get a heal. Another thing to note, if your unit is at full HP, they will still use their healing specials, effectively wasting them. Unlike some defensive specials like Aegis or Sacred Cowl, which only activate when their conditions are met, Noontime and Sol will always proc. The other unfortunate aspect to these specials is that they depend on your unit actually dealing damage. Against high defense or resistance tanks, your units will be dealing less damage, and therefore when they activate their specials, will heal for less as well. Damage specials allow units to punch through tanky enemies and can be really powerful depending on the skill and unit. Aether solves this problem because of its Luna effect that allows the user to cut through tanks. By doing more damage, Aether can then ensure it gets a decent amount of healing back, and from my experience, I do think it feels really impactful as a special skill. I am now going to go over some simple setups that can help your units make better use out of Noontime and Sol. I wouldn't recommend these for Aether without some other skills due to its 5-turn cooldown. So first up, we have the simple killer weapon effect, which reduces the cooldowns of specials by 1. This means Noontime will be a 1-turn special and Sol will becomes a 2-turn special. Simply put, faster special activations means more healing. Next is an interesting interaction using the Wrath B skill. One component of Wrath grants an extra 10 damage when your special procs if the unit is below 75% HP for Wrath 3. That 10 damage can increase your total healing. So let's say you deal 10 damage normally. Have Sol ready and you will activate Wrath. Wrath adds an additional 10 damage, and that means Sol now has the potential to heal up to 10 HP since you will now be dealing 20 damage. This is a cool interaction because now Noontime and Sol can get some extra damage, then that can be used to get more healing. So now think about combining a killer weapon with Wrath and a healing special. Lower cooldowns means more specials, and Wrath gets you more damage, therefore you get more healing. Woe Dao is a sword that has a similar effect to Wrath. Every time you activate a special, Woe Dao adds an additional 10 damage. Again, we can use this extra damage to get more healing. Woe Dao also doesn't have a health requirement for its effect, so it's more reliable than Wrath. So what if we use Woe Dao and Wrath? Their effects can stack, which means you get an extra 20 damage every time you proc Noontime or Sol. In an ideal case scenario, that means Noontime heals for an additional 6 HP, and Sol will get an additional 10 HP heal. Personally, I haven't been able to test this combination, but I think it's one of the best ways to use Noontime and Sol. If your unit gets hurt and activates their special, then they can do a decent amount of damage and get a pretty good heal off, assuming the enemy has HP left. Then you just repeat the process of taking damage, activate specials, and heal back up to safe levels of HP. This combination basically tries to mimic how Aether works. So before continuing, I wanted to address something regarding the upgraded Hauteclaire wielded by Minerva and Michaelis. The special variant gives Hauteclaire a Woe Dao effect, making it mimic the setup of a killer weapon with the Wrath B skill. In itself, this sounds like a pretty powerful weapon, and many people then came to the next logical conclusion of why not use Wrath with the upgraded Hauteclaire. Now you could get a 1-turn Noontime or 2 turns Sol thanks to the special cooldown reduction, and you get the plus 20 damage added on special activations. That sounded like an absolute amazing setup, perfect for use with the healing specials. Unfortunately, you cannot inherit Wrath to flying units apparently. That is something the game does fall flat on. A lot of skills do not tell you their skill inherent restrictions until you actually try to pass them on. For rare skills like Wrath, it means a lot of people just won't know about these restrictions unless they find out on the internet. With the dream build dead, let's move on to some personal thoughts I have regarding these skills. First off, I want to say that I really tried to make Noontime and Sol work. Even after their cooldown reduction, I just didn't find them exciting to use. In Arena, it's still extremely important to secure 1-round KOs, especially if you are baiting the enemy. Failing to secure kills leaves you vulnerable to way too many things at the moment. Wings of Mercy, Dancers, Reposition Drawback Swap, Vantage, and more are all tools the enemy can use to put you in a bad spot by failing to outright kill an enemy. Sure, I could give my Lucas, who is a monster defensive tank, skills like Sol to heal up by using Quick Riposte, but then he will fail to KO the enemy. If I use Bonfire, then Lucas can just outright get the kill, and my team is safer than if the enemy were to get danced or to have an ally teleport next to them. At this time, it is still better in my opinion to go for the kill than to get a little bit of healing back. That being said, I just don't think they heal for enough. Noontime feels so bad to me unless my unit is consistently doing something like 25 or more damage. I think Sol is alright, but it still falls prey to the issues we discussed before, mainly losing effectiveness against low HP targets. I think Aether is now the best healing skill because we have other skills that can reduce its cooldown massively during battle. I'm referring to Heavy Blade, Flashing Blade, Steady Breath, and now some of those new armor skills from the Christmas banner. While I may be disappointed by Noontime and Sol right now, that doesn't mean they won't get better. In the future, I'm hoping for some type of skill effect that will let Noontime and Sol get the full heal based off the user's original attack rather than damage dealt. It would at least solve the issue of wasting these specials on targets with little HP left. However, I think this effect would be broken with Aether, so it would probably need to be tweaked. I also want to make it clear that maybe I'm just not using Noontime or Sol with the right units or the right builds. The beautiful part of games like Fire Emblem Heroes is that different people play the game in different ways. If you have a build that utilizes these healing specials that you feel works great, then feel free to share them in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. I wanted to talk about my experience with the upgraded Caradax Plus on my Spring Crom, but I don't think it's worthy of its own video, and it is related to our topic of healing, so I'm going to tack it on here at the end. So if you don't know, the 4 Spring weapons can be upgraded in the Weapon Refinery, and they will now heal for 4 HP after any time in combat, as long as they make an attack. My first thought was to try this out with the Fury A skill. Since the healing occurs after combat, it will cancel out part of Fury's recoil damage. With Fury 2, you will take no extra damage, while Fury 3 will only deal 2 recoil damage after combat. I thought the plus 3 stat boost from my Spring Crown would be nice, and it does help him out, especially well in the speed department. However, I then tried to combine this with the healing specials, and it just does not work as well as I thought it would. Again, I'm going to state that I think this is largely an issue with the unit and build itself, because Spring Crom is pretty offensive stat-wise, and I think getting the heal after combat combined with Noontime or Sol would work better on a dedicated tank. To add to this continuous health regen, I think Renewal 3 would be a great complement, and with all this extra healing, your unit should be able to survive for multiple turns. Here's some gameplay of my Spring Crom with a speed upgraded Caradax, and he also has a plus speed nature. Combined with Fury, he actually is pretty fast, and by using an offensive special like Luna, I think he's a really good attacker for a Green Axe user. Thinking about it more, I believe the spring weapons would benefit units with less HP if they want to use skills that you need to be above certain health thresholds. For example, my Spring Chrom has X-Breaker, so being able to stay in X-Breaker's HP range is really important. Now, Chrom has a kind of a lot of HP, so the 4 HP heal isn't actually that much percentage-wise. However, a unit who is in the low 30s for HP would get a bigger heal percentage-wise. To think of it simpler, a unit with 50 health is less likely to be impacted by a 4 HP heal compared to a unit with only 30 total health. Of course, there are way too many other factors that go into combat to say this is a fact, but for the sake of staying within certain HP thresholds, the amount of total HP a unit has can be a big factor. Maybe this is a topic for another video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video about the buffed up healing specials. Just because I can't find the right unit for them doesn't make them bad to use at all. I do think they aren't as effective as damage specials at this point of the game, however. Also, with the staff buffs, healers can output some tremendous amounts of healing, and I'm really enjoying getting 30 plus heals from Recover Plus. Don't forget to check out the Fire Emblem Amino. I am excited to have gotten the opportunity from them, and it really means a lot to me and the channel. If you want to join, link is in the description, or you can search for Amino in your app store of choice. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next Fire Emblem Heroes Guide. I wonder if I should do a Christmas special.